The spaceship Explorer was on a long and challenging mission, searching for new worlds and intelligent life forms across the galaxy. After many months of traveling through the vastness of space, the ship's sensors finally picked up something unusual: a distant planet that seemed to have the right conditions for life. The planet, soon named Xara, had a breathable atmosphere, vast oceans, and a landscape filled with strange yet beautiful formations. Captain Emma, a seasoned explorer, reviewed the data carefully. The planet showed signs of advanced technology energy readings that couldn't be explained by natural phenomena alone. This could be the discovery they had been hoping for. But with excitement came caution. Meeting an intelligent species for the first time could be unpredictable. Captain Emma called her team together. "We've discovered a planet with potential signs of intelligent life," she said, her voice steady but filled with anticipation. "Xara could be home to an advanced civilization. We need to approach this carefully." After discussing the situation, they decided to send a small team down to the surface to investigate. Captain Emma would lead the mission herself, along with Lieutenant Davis, the ship's science officer, Dr. Lee, and a few other specialists. They prepared the shuttle, loading it with scanning equipment, translation devices, and everything they might need for a first contact scenario. As they descended through Xara's atmosphere, the crew caught their first glimpse of the planet's surface. It was a breathtaking sight, a landscape filled with towering, glowing plants and strange, metallic structures that seemed to pulse with energy. But there was something else: a large, imposing structure that stood out against the natural landscape, clearly not of natural origin. The team landed the shuttle a short distance from the structure and began their approach on foot. The air was fresh, with a hint of unfamiliar scents, and the ground beneath their feet was firm, but springy. As they got closer to the structure, they noticed that it was made of a smooth, reflective material that seemed almost alive, shifting colors as they moved. Then they saw it. Standing at the entrance of the structure was a tall, slender figure. The figure had blue skin, elongated limbs, and large, dark eyes that seemed to observe them with intense curiosity. It was an alien, unlike anything they had imagined, yet clearly intelligent and aware of their presence. The team stopped, unsure of what to do next. But before they could speak, a voice echoed in their minds, not a spoken voice, but a telepathic message. "Welcome to Xara. Do not be afraid. We mean you no harm." Captain Emma felt a shiver run down her spine. Telepathy was something they had only theorized about, and now she was experiencing it firsthand. She stepped forward, trying to project calm and confidence. "Thank you," she said aloud, hoping the alien could understand. "We come in peace. We are explorers from a distant planet called Earth." The alien nodded, its movements smooth and deliberate. It communicated again, directly into their minds. "My name is Lorak. I am here to welcome you on behalf of our leader. Please follow me." Captain Emma exchanged glances with her team. They were all clearly feeling a mix of awe and apprehension. This was the moment they had been preparing for, and now it was happening. Without hesitation, they followed Lorak into the structure, ready to meet the unknown and hoping that this encounter would be the beginning of a peaceful and fruitful relationship between their species and the inhabitants of Xara. Emma and her team followed Lorak into the massive structure, their footsteps echoing softly in the alien corridors. The walls around them were smooth and seemed to glow faintly with an inner light, casting an otherworldly glow on everything. The architecture was unlike anything they had ever seen, with sweeping curves and intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with energy. As they walked, Emma couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and caution. This was clearly the work of an advanced civilization. Lorak led them through a series of hallways, each one more impressive than the last. Finally, they arrived at a large set of doors that slid open silently as they approached. Beyond the doors was a grand hall, vast and filled with a soft ambient light. The room was circular, with a high ceiling that seemed to stretch up into infinity, and in the center stood a raised platform surrounded by a ring of softly glowing symbols. On the platform stood Xalna, the leader of Xara. Xalna was even more imposing than Lorik, taller and more regal, with deep blue skin and eyes that seemed to hold a universe of wisdom. Her presence was commanding, yet there was a calmness about her that put the team somewhat at ease. "Welcome, visitors from Earth," Xalna said, her voice resonating not in their ears, but in their minds. It was a gentle yet powerful, telepathic greeting. "We have been expecting you." Emma was taken aback by this statement. "You knew we were coming?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Xalna nodded, a small, almost imperceptible movement. "Yes, we have been aware of your presence in our galaxy for some time. We Xarans have advanced ways of observing the cosmos. Your arrival here is an important event for us." Emma took a deep breath, realizing the significance of this moment. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding. We hope to establish friendly relations with your people." Xalna smiled, a soft, serene expression that seemed to radiate warmth. "We too seek peace and friendship. Our civilization has thrived on harmony and mutual respect for many cycles. We believe that cooperation between our species could bring great benefits to both our worlds." Emma felt a sense of relief, but remained cautious. "We would like to learn more about your people and your ways. Our mission is to explore and to understand." Xalna gestured to the seats arranged around the platform. "Please sit with us. We will share our history and our ways with you." Emma and her team took their seats, feeling a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. As they settled in, Xalna began to speak, her voice still echoing in their minds. She told them about the history of Xara, a world that had once been divided by conflict, but had long ago united under a single peaceful government. She spoke of their achievements in science, art, and philosophy, and how they had focused on personal growth and collective well-being rather than conquest or expansion. But as Xalna spoke, Emma couldn't shake a feeling of unease. There was something in Xalna's eyes, a depth that hinted at something unsaid, something hidden. Emma listened carefully, trying to absorb every detail, but also watching for any signs of deception or danger. Xalna continued, "We have lived in peace for many generations, but we are not without our challenges. We face threats from within and beyond our world, and we have always sought to overcome them through wisdom and unity." Emma nodded, appreciating the sentiment, but still wary. "We understand. Our own world has seen its share of conflicts and struggles. We have learned that cooperation and understanding are key to survival." Xalna inclined her head slightly. "It is good to hear that we share similar values. We hope that our meeting today is the beginning of a long and prosperous relationship between our peoples." The conversation continued for some time, with Xalna answering their questions and sharing more about the Xaran way of life. Yet, throughout the discussion, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something was being carefully controlled, something just beneath the surface. The Xarans were offering friendship, but Emma knew they needed to be careful not to be too trusting too quickly. As the meeting drew to a close, Xalna stood and thanked them for their willingness to come and learn about Xara. "We will continue our discussions in the coming days," she said. "There is much we can learn from each other." Emma stood as well, nodding respectfully. "We look forward to it. Thank you for your hospitality." With that, Lorik reappeared to guide them back to their ship. As they followed him through the winding corridors, Emma's mind was racing. She couldn't help but feel that there was more to the Xarans than they were letting on. This first meeting had gone smoothly, but she knew the real challenges were just beginning. The truth about Xara, and what the Xarans really wanted, was still out there, waiting to be uncovered. As the days passed, Captain Emma and her team continued their interactions with the Xarans, learning more about their advanced society. The Xarans were open about their history and culture, sharing stories of how they had overcome internal conflicts and developed technologies that allowed them to live in harmony. However, despite the peaceful exterior, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One evening, after a long day of discussions and tours, Emma gathered her team in their quarters aboard the Explorer to discuss their observations. "There's something they're not telling us," Emma said, her voice low and serious. "Xalna's words are reassuring, but I can't ignore the feeling that we're only being shown what they want us to see." Lieutenant Davis nodded in agreement. "I've noticed it too. Every time we ask about their government or their defense systems, they steer the conversation back to their achievements in art or science. It feels like they're hiding something." Dr. Lee, the science officer, spoke up. "I've been analyzing the energy readings we've been getting from their technology. There's a strange pattern I can't quite figure out. It's almost as if their systems are designed to mask something, like they're shielding us from seeing the full picture." Emma leaned forward, her expression tense. "We need to find out what they're hiding, but we have to be careful. If they realize we're onto them, it could jeopardize everything." The team agreed to proceed with caution, gathering as much information as they could without raising suspicion. Over the next few days, they continued their interactions with the Xarans, all the while subtly probing for more details. It wasn't long before Emma's suspicions were confirmed. During a private conversation with Lorik, the Xaran who had first greeted them, Emma noticed something in his demeanor, a hesitation, as if he wanted to say more but was holding back. She decided to take a risk. "Lorik," she began, choosing her words carefully, "we appreciate everything you and your people have shared with us. But I can't help but feel that there's something more we should know. Something important." Lorik's eyes flickered with a brief look of surprise, but he quickly masked it. "What do you mean, Captain?" "I mean that your society is incredibly advanced, yet you seem to be very careful about what you show us. It makes me wonder if there's something you're protecting or hiding from us." There was a long silence as Lorik seemed to consider his response. Finally, he sighed, his shoulders slumping slightly. "You are perceptive, Captain Emma. There is indeed more to our world than what we have shown you." Emma leaned in, her heart pounding. "What is it? What aren't you telling us?" Lorik looked around nervously, as if checking to make sure they weren't being overheard. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, "Xalna's rule is not as peaceful as it seems. She maintains control through more coercive means than we have shared with you." Emma's eyes widened. "Coercive? What do you mean?" Lorik hesitated, then continued, "Xalna has the ability to influence the minds of our people. She uses telepathy to control thoughts, to ensure obedience, and prevent dissent. Those who resist disappear." Emma felt a chill run down her spine. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I believe in the true values of our people," Lorik replied, his voice filled with quiet conviction. "We were once a free society, where ideas could be debated and different voices could be heard. But over time, Xalna's control has grown stronger. I can't stand by and watch it continue." Emma realized the gravity of the situation. They were not just dealing with a potential ally, they were walking a thin line with a powerful and dangerous ruler. "We need to leave," she said firmly. "If Xalna finds out that we know this, we're all in danger." Lorik nodded. "I can help you, but we must be discreet. If Xalna suspects anything, she will not hesitate to act." Over the next few hours, Emma and Lorik devised a plan to get the team back to the Explorer without arousing suspicion. Lorik arranged for a routine inspection of their shuttle, which would give them an excuse to return to their ship. As they made their way back to the shuttle, Emma couldn't help but feel the weight of the knowledge they now carried. They had come to Xara seeking peace and friendship, but what they had found was a society under the control of a powerful leader who used fear and manipulation to maintain order. Just as they were about to board the shuttle, Xalna appeared, her presence commanding and her expression unreadable. "Captain Emma, I trust your visit has been enlightening?" Emma forced a smile, keeping her emotions in check. "Yes, very much so. Your people have been most generous." Xalna's eyes seemed to bore into her, as if searching for any sign of deceit. "I'm glad to hear that. Safe travels, Captain. I look forward to our continued discussions." With a nod, Emma and her team boarded the shuttle, trying to appear calm. As the shuttle lifted off and headed back to the Explorer, Emma let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "We're not safe yet," she said quietly. "We need to get out of here before Xalna decides we're a threat." As the shuttle approached the Explorer, Emma knew they had to act quickly. The real challenge was just beginning. They had uncovered a dangerous secret, and now they had to find a way to protect themselves and possibly free the Xarans from Xalna's control. Emma and her team had barely made it back to the Explorer when the sense of urgency hit them full force. They were now aware of Xalna's hidden control over the Xaran population, and they knew that if she discovered their knowledge, she would not hesitate to act against them. The moment they were safely aboard the ship, Emma called an emergency meeting with her senior officers. "We need to leave this system immediately," Emma began, her voice tense. "Xalna has been using telepathic control to maintain power over the Xarans, and now that we know, we're at risk. We have to assume she might already be suspicious." Lieutenant Davis nodded, his expression grim. "We should plot a course out of the Xara system and get ready for a quick departure. But Captain, we can't just leave without taking precautions. Xalna's influence might extend beyond what we've seen." Emma agreed. "We'll need to disable any tracking devices that might have been placed on our ship during our time here. I also want our communication systems checked. There could be a way she's monitoring us." As the crew sprang into action, Emma's mind was racing. She knew they had to be quick, but they also needed to be thorough. Any mistake could give Xalna the time she needed to act. Meanwhile, Lorik had stayed behind on the planet, continuing his role as a loyal subject of Xalna to avoid raising suspicion. But he had provided Emma with critical information about a hidden path through the planet's atmosphere that would allow the Explorer to leave without triggering Xaran defense systems. This route was a closely guarded secret, known only to a few within Xara's ruling circle. Emma had to trust Lorik's information. As the ship's systems were being checked, she ordered the navigation team to prepare for a swift departure using the hidden route. The crew worked quickly, each member understanding the gravity of the situation. But just as they were finalizing preparations, an alarm sounded on the bridge. "Captain, we're detecting an energy surge coming from the planet," the tactical officer reported. "It looks like some kind of directed energy weapon is being powered up." Emma's heart sank. It's Xalna. She knows. "All hands to battle stations," she ordered, her voice cutting through the tension on the bridge. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers and activate the ship's shields. We need to get out of here now." The Explorer began to power up its engines, preparing to make a break for the hidden escape route. But before they could make their move, a communication came through on the main screen. It was Xalna. Her image appeared, calm but menacing. "Captain Emma, why are you leaving so soon? We were just beginning to understand each other." Emma met Xalna's gaze on the screen, her mind racing for a response. "We appreciate your hospitality, Xalna, but our mission requires us to move on. We've gathered all the data we need. Xalna's eyes narrowed slightly, her calm demeanor barely masking her suspicion. Is that so? It seems strange that you would leave so abruptly. Are you sure there isn't something else motivating your departure? Emma knew she couldn't reveal what they had learned. She needed to buy time. Our mission schedule is tight. We have other destinations to reach before our return, but we hope to continue our discussions in the future. Xalna's expression remained unreadable, but her next words were chilling. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Captain. You see, there are some things that are best left undiscovered. And now that you've learned too much, I cannot let you leave. With that, the transmission cut off, and the ship's sensors lit up with warnings. The energy weapon on the planet had locked onto the Explorer. All engines full power. Emma commanded, "Get us out of here." The Explorer surged forward, heading for the hidden atmospheric corridor Lorik had described. The ship's shields flared as they absorbed the first blast from the planet's weapon, but the crew knew they couldn't withstand a direct hit. As the ship raced towards the escape route, Emma kept a close eye on the tactical display. The energy weapon was charging for another shot. Divert all power to the rear shields, she ordered, and get us through that corridor. The ship shook violently as it took another glancing hit, but the shields held. With the engines at maximum thrust, the Explorer plunged into the hidden corridor. The ship navigated the narrow, twisting path through Xara's atmosphere, with the crew holding their breath as they evaded the planet's defense systems. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the Explorer broke free into open space. The crew erupted in relieved cheers, but Emma knew they weren't out of danger yet. They needed to get as far from Xara as possible. Set a course for the nearest uncharted region, she ordered. We need to put some distance between us and Xara, and keep the sensors scanning for any pursuit. As the ship accelerated away from the planet, Emma allowed herself a moment to breathe. They had escaped, but the experience had left a deep mark. Xalna was more dangerous than they had imagined, and her influence over the Xarans was a powerful tool. Emma knew they had to report their findings to Earth's command, but she also knew they needed to be careful. Xalna's reach might extend further than they could predict, and the safety of her crew was her top priority. As the Explorer sped through space, leaving Xara behind, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was far from over. They had escaped with their lives, but the threat of Xalna and what she represented would linger in the shadows of their journey for a long time to come. With Xalna out of the way, Emma and her team managed to get back to their spaceship. Lorik explains that Xara was becoming more oppressive under Xalna's rule, which is why he decided to help the humans. Lorik says he will continue to fight to make Xara a peaceful place again. Emma and her team thank Lorik and wish him success. The Explorer safely leaves Xara and disappears into the stars. Once again, humanity has avoided a dangerous threat. This experience shows Emma and her team that space is both dangerous and full of new friends. And so, humanity's journey to find new allies and face new enemies continues.